Look at this little guy. This is the Meteor75 Pro HD from Beta FPV. This thing only weighs 35 grams and has HD video on board. All right, let's do a quick unboxing. Inside you've got a bag of spare props. Looks like we have a couple spare screws as well as a screwdriver in case you have to take the drone apart. Here we have a USB cable, and this is what you're going to hook up to the Walksnail VTX. This is the Walksnail version. I'm going to talk about that later on, but this cable right here is going to be used for taking the DVR footage off of the drone. And then over here you have a battery charger, and this is a BT 2.0 battery charger. This has 2 ports on it, so you can charge 2 batteries at once, plus you can check the voltage of the battery. You get these 2 550 milliamp 1S BT 2.0 LiPos. You get a USB-C cable. And here's the drone itself and a little QR code thing at the bottom. All right, so this drone comes in a handful of different combinations, VTX and receiver wise. This version that I have here is the ELRS version with a Walksnail Avatar 1S Lite VTX on board. So we do have HD footage on this. You can get this with an analog video transmitter, and you can also get it with an HD0 option as well. Receiver wise, you can get it with ELRS, which is what I have here, FR Sky, and you can get a TBS version. So the FR Sky and ELRS versions are gonna have the receiver built right into the flight controller. So like I said, here I have the ELRS Walksnail version. So on this drone, we're going to be able to get some nice HD footage on board since it's rocking the Avatar 1S Lite VTX. This VTX has 8 gigabytes of onboard storage that'll automatically start recording flight footage when you arm the drone. To get that footage off of the VTX, you have this little plug right here, and this kind of goes back to that cable I talked about in the beginning of the video. That's this one right here. This plugs into the VTX, this plugs into the computer. In order to get it to show up on your computer, make sure you have a battery plugged into the drone, and then this is going to pop up on your computer as a flash storage device. From there, you can import all of the footage that was recorded onto the VTX. Underneath the Avatar Lite, we have our flight controller, and the flight controller in this drone is an all-in-one. It's Beta FPV's F4 1S 5-amp board. The board has a BMI 270 gyro and 8 megabytes for black box logs. Underneath, this board has motor plugs, as Beta FPV has been doing on most of their pre-built drones. This makes for very easy motor replacement if something were to happen to these. You just unplug it, screw a new one on, plug a new one in, and you're all set. No soldering required. The battery connector is a BT 2.0, and you can use the included 550 milliamp LiPos, or you could also use something along the lines of a 450. Now, as long as it's the same width and thickness, you'll be able to use it. These 450s fit in here great. If you're upgrading from something like a Cetus X, these batteries are gonna work perfect with this drone. You're probably gonna get a little bit shorter flight time, but as long as it fits in there nice and snug and doesn't move around, you're good. BT 2.0, plug it in, and you're good to go. Motor-wise, we've got Beta FPV's 1102 22,000 kV motors paired with Gemfan tri-blade 45mm props. So this is an upgrade from the previous version, which actually had 40mm props. The frame and canopy are plastic, and I know that Beta FPV offers these in different colors. If this frame is anything like the Meteor75, this is another drone of theirs that I've just been bashing around my house. I think I've crashed this thing like 50 times, and this is the original frame that came with the drone. And if this frame is anything like this, this is going to be very durable. All right, enough talking. Let's take this thing outside and see how it flies. All right, I dig it. It performs very similar to the Meteor 65, but I think it's a little bit better for outdoor flight. Then again, it does have much bigger props, and the Meteor 65 I think is good for indoor whoop races. I think this would also be good for indoor whoop races, but I would feel confident flying this outdoors as well. If you're flying this outdoors, I would probably just stray away from flying it in winds higher than like 15 miles an hour. So this isn't really a complaint, more so just an observation that I made with the walk snail version, and this might apply to HD0 as well. As far as the Avatar 1S Lite VTX goes, it requires at least 3.1 volts of power. So once you start seeing the land now alert on your screen, don't do any crazy punch outs or anything that will put the voltage of the battery down under 3.1 volts, because then the VTX is going to just completely reset like this. I usually run my 1S lipos down a little further than I probably should, to about like 3.2 or 3.3 volts, and I had the Avatar VTX shut off since the battery was so low. When this happens, your video feed just goes black, and then it takes about 15 seconds or so to reconnect. So once you start seeing 3.3 volts or the low voltage alert, just kind of be wary of that and don't let it go under 3.1. Otherwise, awesome little quad. The thing weighs 35 grams and it has HD video on board. I really can't complain. So far it's been durable. I've crashed it a couple times and I haven't had to replace anything. This goes the same for the Meteor 65 here, so I'm anticipating that this one's going to be just as durable. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave the video a like. If you have any questions about the Meteor 75 Pro HD, leave a comment down below.